back with another video of Snacks and Suplexes. I'm your over-caffeinated host who's on his fourth energy drink since noon. I am Michael Christian. I got Matthias on my left, and I got our very special guest, Anthony Toatele, the Fluent Samoan, man of many nicknames.
Sweet.
It's great to have you here today, man.
Yes,
I
sir.
appreciate you guys having me.
I've been a fan for, when was that photo taken? 2014, 2015?
I was gonna say, like 2014, 2015.
I had just
when
graduated high school. And I
Oh,
was like,
wow.
if this says anything, I still talk to Zodiac, who you did the match with that day.
Zodi's a good dude. I love Zodi.
And then we got
Sweet.
Latino Heat hanging out in the comments since he's stuck at work.
Hey.
And apparently Everest is joining me. Everest. Matthias, do you want to get us started with your questions?
Oh, yes. I'm gonna pull up the stream here for. Yeah, okay, good. So my name is Matt. Matthias plays. I'm his cousin, and one thing that I even asked him or whoever's doing like anything to do in the public eye. I used to be a DJ, and one thing that I could never really get over was anxiety, and I was
Yeah.
curious of when do you get anxiety? Does it like the butterflies in the stomach? Is that a real thing that the wrestlers really get, or is it?
So
And like how do
yeah.
you get or how do you overcome it?
So I think anxiety is probably like a thing that everyone deals with person to person, right? Like getting ready to go out in front of hundreds, thousands of people to do the thing that you love, right? So for me, I get anxiety occasionally, right? Like that, like I gotta like, oh man, my heart rate is up a little bit right before I walk through the curtain. But I do this like, so I've got this little thing, this little mantra that I say to myself right before I walk out, probably like 5 minutes before, just reminding myself like who I am, why I do this, right? And then something that's really helped me is a couple years ago I went to like a breathing seminar, like learning how to breathe to chill your nerves and calm your nerves before big performances. And it was more focused to jujitsu competition because that I do that as well. Um, but like I took a lot of that and just applied that. So now like I just do this thing that they call box breathing, right? 4 second deep breath in, pause for 4 second, 4 second deep breath out. Do that a couple times. Helps me like get rid of some of that adrenaline, so I'm not dumping all that adrenaline right before I walk out the curtain because then you're to your point, like you just kind of frozen and you feel stiff and nothing feels great.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the way that I deal with it. I know lots of guys that still get butterflies, like guys that are 13, 14, 15 years in the business, and they're always like, "Oh man, I'm real nervous," and I'm always like, "Man, like you're getting nervous. Should I be nervous? Because I'm not that nervous before I go out." So
Yeah, totally agree. And I know it's I don't think I could ever do what, pro wrestlers do because the center of attention is on you guys. But like me, when I used to DJ, the attention would be on the bride and groom or just the music, and I would just be sitting in a corner. Um, Other than just speaking on a microphone, that is something that I always hated doing. I could never get over it, unfortunately. Um, but yeah, man, that's really good to hear about, how you overcome the anxieties that you get.
yeah, it's funny that you say that about wrestling, right? So like somebody else just asked me about this, like in my personal life, and like man, like I was at Elimination Chamber and I had a spot on Elimination Chamber where pulled a guy down from that was trying to climb into the cage, and there was like 20,000 people there, and
Oh,
and it's the United Center. But the funny thing is like when I'm wrestling, I don't see anything beyond the first two rows. Like after the first two rows, it's just like everything's kind of a blur. So like if you're not sitting in those first two rows, like there could be 10 people back there. Again, there could be hundreds of thousands of people back there. I'm only seeing those first two rows. So it makes me like way less nervous.
that's actually very interesting. Very
Yeah,
interesting.
I didn't even think of that way. But what was that? MWC Mayhem. I didn't even think of who was behind us because I happened to glance because my dad vision is always on. So I see a little kid running the side of my vision. I'm like, oh no, he's gonna get hit by a wrestler. Turns out it was your kids. I was like, oh no, this ain't gonna be good. And it's just like just the aura farming moment from you walking ever so slowly to your kids, and then they come in full energy. You had that wherewithal. That was just the coolest thing of the night. I will say that.
Oh, I appreciate that, man. That's like
And
their
the
moment, right?
Oh, absolutely. Because I was like, there's a bunch of wrestling figures just sitting in the back. And TM is a big figure guy. And he's like, nice. He's like sitting there glancing. And I was like, I don't even know whose kid it is, but he was so kind when he bumped into me when we were just doing during the intermission. He's like, I'm so sorry. I was like, you're okay, man. Like, it was sweet and nice. But your kids are some of the nicest kids ever. Like, oh,
Oh, thank
excuse
you.
me, sorry. And Matthias, what did you say to me when we first walked in?
Uh, about Anthony,
Yes,
or
Anthony here.
I think that I think I was saying, was it about like his size?
Yeah. You're like,
I
oh, he's not
felt,
that big. And you're like, oh, no.
yeah, I didn't, because like at first, I'm like, wait, and and then I kind of see him come by. I'm like, damn, that dude's pretty big. I ain't gonna lie.
I try to get. I'm trying to get bigger. You know what I'm saying? Like that's my whole goal is to get even bigger. Like uh, when I stand next to the WWE guys, and I've been at WWE the last couple of times, like I'm like, oh man, like we're the same size. So if I can just stay in that general range, then I'm good.
Sweet, man.
Yeah. And during your match, you were casually running the ropes. Matthias leaned over to me and was like, do you get the itch? Do you get the itch still? Because I did backyard wrestling for 2 years. Not the same thing, but I studied footwork. Like I love footwork. And I'm sitting here like, as you're stepping, I'm tapping my feet. Do you ever get that urge in the back when you're watching someone wrestle? Like, oh, I would have taken an extra second doing something.
Sometimes I watch other people's matches, and honestly, at this point, like if I'm watching other people's matches, it's for one of two reasons. Like either you're some of my boys that I like want to make sure, like, hey, you're doing the right things, or you've asked me to watch your match because you think that for some ungodly reason that I've got some good opinion on wrestling, and you're like, hey, man, will you watch my match? And I always warn them, like, I don't know anything about wrestling, but if you want my opinion, I'll give it.
Yeah. I was doing some research, and your first match on record for an interview you did. I can't even remember the company. I'm terrible at remembering companies. It
New
was
Era Wrestling, probably.
yes, out in Shelbyville, Indiana. It was a 2-on-3 tag handicap match against Hillbilly Jed and Osiris, and I've actually talked to both of them in the last few weeks.
Oh, really?
I've reached out to Steve, and he's just like, "Wait, you're doing a podcast now?" I was like, "Yeah, I'd love to have you on if you ever have the time." He's like, "What's your schedule?" I was like, "We will make it work."
Hell yeah.
But is I've heard good and bad about Congo, but every time I've seen him in the ring with you, he's taking like I've being in the ring. You take care of it, Adeline. Scary. Adeline. Oh,
Been
this
there.
is my other little one, and her volume is always at a 10. But as I was saying, would you recommend Congo as a trainer? As in, he's always said great things. He's always said, hop into the ring. The best thing you can do is learn the ropes.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. I wouldn't be where I'm at today if it wasn't for Congo Kong, right? Like he laid the foundation for so many of us guys, like myself, especially like guys, my little brother Eric Surge, little brother, right? Like we learned when we got that foundation from Congo Kong. So anything that we're doing today in today like the world of wrestling, we owe to him.
Every conversation I've had with him, he's like always so excited. Like he's like, you know who I am? I was like, oh, you're 6'8" and some change, dude. Like you are very easy
Wow.
to point out. Or
Yeah.
Bill
Can't
Pett's
miss.
like 6'8", but he's a foot taller than me easily. I mean, everybody is, but I'm like 5'5" on a good day. Matthias, do you have any other questions?
Yes. So I'm always curious. Was there a certain wrestler or a certain event that got you into wanting to be a professional wrestler?
Yeah, so actually there was like a really specific time frame. Like I can remember, so obviously like I watched wrestling as like a little kid, like with my dad, and like we watched like the old WCW and old WWF and big Sting and Hogan fans and Ultimate Warrior, right? But
Yes.
like then as you grow up, like you kind of fall off, you know, and it kind of went to the wayside. But I can remember like I think I was like 12 in the sixth grade. Um, After my sixth grade year, me and my brother went to stay with my grandparents in Utah for the entire summer. And somehow, like during that summer, like I fell uh, across like the whole WWF versus WCW and ECW alliance storyline. So
Oh, I
that was going
loved
on.
it.
Ooh,
And so like I remember sitting at my grandparents' house in my grandparents' room watching on like a really small TV at the time. The episode where The Rock comes back, right? He returns from suspension and they played it up that he was going to make his decision. What side was he going to join? And then obviously he rock bottoms Vince McMahon and makes it look like he's joining the alliance and Shane McMahon and he hugs him and high fives him and then gives him the rock bottom. And like just that episode and that I like in that moment I was like, that is I want to do that. Like whatever this is, whatever whoever that guy is, he's the coolest guy. And like he's jacked to the gills. He looks like me, sort of like I want to be that guy. So that was like my big moment. I was like, all right, everything that I do from here on out, for the most part, is gonna be like aimed towards wrestling. So I started playing football because of The Rock. The Rock played football before
Yeah.
he went to wrestling, right? And then I got into guys like Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar. So I did amateur wrestling, and it was like, I want to be an amateur wrestler because those guys did that. And so it was just kind of like, but it all stemmed from that like that moment. I can remember like clear as day.
Man, I love that. I love that
right.
whole angle, the whole invasion angle. Oh my god, it gives me goosebumps.
It's one of those moments where we all knew where we were. I think I was 6 years old at that time period, but I I still have some of the DVDs floating around here in wrestling. Speaking of which, one of my favorites, Beyond the Mat. Every like this is how I got into the interview thing was Beyond the Mat in wrestling.
Oh yeah,
And
Beautiful.
when you mentioned that The Rock, only thing that comes to mind is the unprotected chair shots.
Mm.
oh yeah,
As
yeah.
much as it's like, oh, it's such a small moment. I've had my fair share of concussions. Heck, I fell over the day after the show, passed out on the ground, and my wife's like waking me up. I was like, I'm fine, I'm fine. No, I was passed out on the ground. But uh, who were the guys that you watched growing up where you're like, or not even growing up? This could have been more recent. Who were the guys you incorporated more into your move sets?
Yeah, so like, there's like this ongoing joke amongst my longtime friends in the wrestling business, that they used. So like, obviously Roman Reigns and I started like he was obviously doing his thing at WWE, but I like we started around the same time, like 2013. So like, do some of the same things he does. I think it's just like a Samoan thing, right? Like we
Mm.
just do a lot of the same things: the super kick, the Superman punch, the spear. Those are all things that like obviously we just exchange. I mean, then the funny thing is like I like to compare myself to a little bit of like Dolph Ziggler. Like I used to like be a huge like Dolph Ziggler fan, and like I just thought he was so good, and Shawn Michaels. So
Mm.
like a lot of my style like originally started with those guys, like and even like a little bit of like CM Punk, right? Because like CM Punk was like really the first guy that came from the independent scene that made it. Like he went to
Yeah.
OVW when they were underneath WWE. He went to WWE after a successful run with Ring of Honor and on the independents. And so, like, those are the main guys that I'm like kind of tailor myself around, but like, make it my own. Like all the things that I do in the ring that somebody else might do, make sure I do it my own way. So everyone's always like, are you trying to be Roman Reigns? And I'm like, nah, brother, there's way more Samoans out there than just Roman. I got bad news
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah. We got Latino Heat TM hanging out in the chat. His question is, "What's your favorite finisher?" It's not even, doesn't even need to be one that you've performed, one that you just are like always stop what you're doing just to watch it.
So my favorite finisher, it's probably a tie between the super kick, the sweet shin music, which I love because like not only do I the reason I started doing that move is because I hated seeing it as like this in between move. Like people use it now as just like a setup or whatever. And
Yep.
so like every time I hit it, I'm just like, make sure like this is a move that's gonna put the match could end on this move. Um, and then obviously like I think the big one is like the rock bottom, just because like again that moment of the Rock giving Vince McMahon the rock bottom and then going to Shane and giving him the rock bottom is like burned into my brain.
When you said rock bottom, all I thought was WrestleMania 19 with 3 rock bottoms against Austin. Was it 19? Yeah,
Oh,
it was
yeah.
19.
Yep.
Where it's like we grew up with old school wrestling. This man is how I got into watching WCW. I had never even heard of WCW. He's like, you want to see some cool wrestling? Popped in a VHS and we started watching Shane McMahon at WCW tapings. You're like, this is the craziest thing in wrestling.
I was so salty
man,
when
for
that
that.
happened because I was a huge WCW fan. My brother actually called me, and when Vince showed up on WCW, my brother just calls me. He's older than me. He's like, look what happened. And dude, I'm so mad because I was such a hardcore WCW fan. But if that never happened, I probably would have never found out about WWF or WWE. I probably would have missed out on a lot of stuff. So I got I got another question here. What was the hardest bump that you remember taking?
Oh, the hardest bump I've ever. Ooh. There's been a couple. There's been a couple. Anytime that I have to bump on the cement floor, like with no padding or like, yeah, like that's not fun.
Oh man.
Yeah, I've done that a couple times. Gotten suplex, body slammed on like the hardwood floor of a gymnasium. Like those are terrible, terrible.
Sounds
Any of the
painful.
It's not in the center of the
Actually,
ring.
what? Yeah, yeah. I do recall Shane Mercer power bombing me on the ring apron, which was pretty rough
Oh,
too. Yeah,
damn.
that was in our 60-minute Iron Man match that we had years
Oh
ago.
man.
Was that in? Nope, that wasn't Indianapolis.
Yeah, it was in Noblesville, Fishers area
Yeah, I know
for
where that's at.
WTF. Yeah, Wrestling Theology.
Yes. You out of all you've held, I have the list right here. You've held so many championships. Heroes of Legend champion. You're going on what is it? 2,400 days now.
That's right. That's right. 2,400 days. Eat your heart out, Roman.
You've almost doubled Roman Reigns. You've held Wrestling Theology Fellowship, Belt of Truth Championship, U.S. Championship, Tag Team Championship, OVW Tag Team Championship with nope, that wasn't Chuckles. New Era Wrestling, 2-time All-American champ. I can go on for days.
Dang. A long track record. Nice.
Yeah, man. That's just because I've been around for a minute. That's all.
You are one of the biggest, if not the biggest name in the Midwest. Like I have friends who live in Shelbyville where I did my Adeline volume. Thank you. Kids. But I have friends who are in Shelbyville. They're like, you know Anthony Toatele? I was like, oh, absolutely. A gentleman by the name of Dale Whitten. He's now training out at World WCWO in Indianapolis.
Yep.
You wrestled on the same card as Randy West, Joseph Schwartz, Zodiac, who are all former members of the Bomb Shelter. I'm still in contact with Joseph as well.
Man, you know them all.
I bought his book.
Yeah, I saw
like
that.
reading. I like reading, so I just try to talk to everyone. My rule is if I can give somebody 2 minutes and 30 seconds, it may give them something to look forward to the next day. Because if I'm all, there's no reason to be out. Because I still remember meeting you when I worked at Sam's Club. I had a Red Bull in one hand and a broom in the other, just kind of focusing on the ground, but still acknowledging everyone.
That's right. I remember that.
I'd be zooming through the aisles, running wherever, but I would still have the acknowledgement of turn my head, hey Anthony, and would keep brooming around. Like I was always moving in circles. And every time you always said the same thing, you're like, you're still moving and working hard. And I appreciate that. So I just kept pushing.
That's right.
Kino Heat has a couple questions here. Has Downstate ever done a theme for you? Or have you ever reached out to them?
So I definitely a while ago, a couple years ago, I used the Downstate song as a theme song. Obviously, I didn't know them at the time, but I I text with Zach, the lead singer, occasionally. We talk.
Sweet.
So we have discussed what that looks like in the future for them to do a theme song for me. So I'm just really particular about music, right? So like, I got to find the right song, the right theme, and but those guys are literally they just put out bangers, and pretty much anyone that gets a theme from Downstate, it really puts them from here to here, and I think a
Oh
lot of
yeah.
that's you know even before the Cody Rhodes thing, before he got his theme song when he went to the Indies and he left WWE the first time, like those guys were putting out bangers for Ziggler and for The Miz and working with WWE closely. And so like they're just so etched into pro wrestling history now. Like I think that having a song from them would be awesome and definitely would fit me. So hopefully I can do the same thing. When if I ever get signed, I just take it with me to the next big company.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Hell yeah,
Uh,
man.
what song did you use from Downstate, to be exact?
I knew you were going to ask me that question, and I was unprepared for that. I cannot remember. I'll have to message you when I find out. I got to find it. It was like one
Right.
of their super older songs, and I just ran. I was like, man, I really like the beat to this. And then it was funny. Um, Zach, the lead singer, he used to wrestle a little bit back in the day, and we were on the same show. We did not know each other at the time, and then I came out to that song, so we were sitting in the locker room together. He goes, "Come out to a Downstate song," and I was like, "Yeah, man." He's like, "I'm the lead singer of Downstate," and I was like, "No, no way! Like,
Nice to
you gotta be kidding me."
Zach frequented '07 Pub when I worked there. Nice guy, and he always is like, "What do you want to talk about wrestling?" Because him and I were watching on my phone since I was working night two of WrestleMania. Him and I were watching it while I'm washing dishes and glancing. Just
Yeah,
he's
dude,
like,
Zach's awesome.
yes, and I actually did buy one of their shirts as well because it's a cool shirt.
Yes,
I love
sir.
those guys.
Give me 2 seconds if you want to ask another question, Matthias. I got to run and grab one of the children.
Okay. Let's see here. So, do you have a dream opponent?
Oh, I did. It was one of my dream opponents was AJ Styles, man. Like I thought I was gonna have. I was really waiting for that match with AJ Styles, and he ended up retiring this year. But it's funny because I would definitely say Nick Nemeth, formerly known as Dolph Ziggler. He's up there on my
Yeah.
list just because I think our styles are very similar, and uh, we do some of the same moves. And I would love to run it back with. I've wrestled Billy Gunn.
Oh,
I'd love to run
sweet.
it back with Billy Gunn. I'm in. When the first time I wrestled Billy, it was man, I was probably only like 4 or 5 years in to wrestling, and now like I'm definitely a little more seasoned. So like definitely would like to run that back and see what that looks like now, right? I'm a completely different
Oh yeah.
person. I'm a little more evolved as a wrestler. So but yeah, like and then obviously you got guys like in the WWE, like well, I would love to wrestle someone like Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins is so good, and um, and someone like Finn Balor.
Oh yeah.
Again, those guys are so good at what they do, and watching them do that up close, like I was like, all right, like that's the level I need to be at. Got it. That's what it takes. I'm in.
Hell yeah,
There's
man.
one name I want to see you wrestle. If it happens or not, it's one of those names where you're like, why? Miles Bourne out in NXT. Just think
Miles
about
Bourne.
that. He has a background in amateur wrestling too, and I think you
He
guys can
does.
chain for like 20, 30 minutes. Like could run a 30-minute classic minimum.
Dude, Miles Bourne is such an underrated NXT wrestler. Like, I'm so glad that he's finally getting some of that shine and some of that spotlight now because he is extremely talented, and I think he got cursed a little bit because everyone was comparing him to, obviously he looks like a miniature Randy Orton. Um, but I think like it's hard for us guys that look like other people to kind of get our moment in the spotlight because everyone just compares you to somebody else. But
Yeah.
I'm glad to see him on NXT getting his.
Oh, Latino Heat TM asked, "Do you collect figures of any kind or any wrestling memorabilia?"
So it's funny. I was never a collector of wrestling toys. Like, just wasn't interested. Like, I mean, I had them when I was a kid, right? Like when I did the whole thing and like played the music and whatever. But like as I became an adult, I'm just not a huge collector of anything. But then obviously I have my son who's 7 now, and he's obviously he loves wrestling. He loves watching wrestling. And so we started like to buy wrestling toys for him. And so now it's kind of like become this like joint thing where like we buy guys for him and his collection. Like, so he just loves like he falls in love with like random people. So for a while it was Kane, and then it was the Fiend,
Yes.
Bray Wyatt, and so we have 4 Bray Wyatts, like all versions of Bray Wyatt, and then we have Kane that gets unmasked, and then the Undertaker, and then obviously all the like as many current guys as we can get. He's got 3 Cody Rhodes and 3 Seth Rollins. So like now I'm a collector. So like now we go to like these collectible shows that they have like at the county fairgrounds just to see like what they have, and you'll find me like sometimes I'll sell a t-shirt at a show and I'll take my money that I just got from somebody and take it right over to somebody selling toys and be like, hey, what you got over here? So
Yeah.
now long story short, yes, yeah, I have that shirt too.
It's
Sweet.
cool. It's one of those where it's like, oh, I can see that when it's at the wash. Oh, the goal
yeah.
is to have Zach sign it or any member of Downstate. Speaking of merchandise, we just released the Snacks and Suplexes hats. And Anthony, I've already got yours made. My wife, Amanda, since we were having production issues, we bought the hats and had the designer do the patch. My wife hand sews all these on.
I'm down, brother. I always wear a hat.
You like every time I don't think I've ever seen you not wear a hat, like outside of wrestling. I mean,
Yeah,
not
there's just something comforting, like when you're out and about, and I put my hat on and put my hood up and can kind of move anonymously through
Oh,
through different places.
I can tell you a very funny story. I don't know if you remember this. Probably this was Heroes and Legends when they did a like 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. show. This is like
Wow.
5 or 6 years ago, before I had kids, I think. My brother and I were like, we were just walking out of Walmart, just checking out figures, and we just happened to glance. He's like, "Wait, is that Anthony?" And I just yell as loud as I can. I was like, "Hey, what's up, Anthony?" Like, and then nothing else. You just kind of went and then went about your day.
I think I do recall that actually. I always like it always surprises me when like people recognize me from wrestling. Like and it happens obviously like it's gonna happen in Fort Wayne, like where I live, right? But like it's funny because I when I started going to OVW, I had spent like I don't know, my family and I and some friends, we had spent like a couple of days down there, got an Airbnb, so we were shopping at a mall like after an OVW pay-per-view. And we were walking around, and somebody said, "Is that Anthony Toatele and Eric Surge?" And I was like, "We're in the middle, like we're like 45 minutes away from Louisville, like at this mall." Like, yeah, okay. So just
It,
still takes me off guard.
I understand that because whenever somebody says my name, it throws me off because at the show, there's people sitting almost catty corner where we were sitting. I just hear Michael Christian. It was one of the patrons from '07 Power. I'm like, how did you see me? They're like, you're this tall. You're this tall. How can we miss you?
Just got a stature to you. It's all right.
Yeah.
I'm like the exact opposite of a pro wrestler. I'm like barely the same height as Wee Man. As okay, I'm like 5'6" without my lifts in, but yeah. Who was that? I had the question right here. What was it? When you talk, my brain flopped. Who was that? The Heroes and Legend shows. There we go. The last show here in Fort Wayne was supposed to run synonymously or at the same night as night 1 of WrestleMania 39, and then they canceled it like a month before.
Yep.
Is there any talk of them bringing him back to Fort Wayne? I know you're like the figurehead piece right here.
Yeah. So honestly, I think there's a Heroes and Legends show coming up August 8th in Marion County. Or sorry, not in Marion County, in Marion, Indiana, right where it all started. I think that's going to be the last show. I think it's just been, obviously Heroes and Legends is kind of a spot show where it pops up once or twice a year. I've wrestled a couple times for them while the promoter has lived in Tennessee, which he lives in Pigeon Forge, and so I think it's just hard for him to run in Fort Wayne. Now that WWE's obviously has a presence back in Fort Wayne, it's probably hard to get the Coliseum, would be my guess, right? As you guys know, like they've run a couple house shows that have been pretty successful here in the last couple of years, and plus now they've got Saturday Night Main Event coming back in May. So
I'm excited.
I think it's
Finally.
really good for the city of Fort Wayne. Like honestly, like I think it's really good.
And
The original promoter for Heroes and Legends, if I'm not mistaken, was Body Slam University, and it was ran out of a storage unit over on Coliseum because I trained there for like 2 months and then I got really sick.
Yeah, so Jason Maples, the promoter of Heroes and Legends Wrestling, also ran the training school known as Body Slam University. So that's where I trained when it was over there off of Coliseum. And then Kong was the head trainer. Jason kind of ran the show, but Kong was our head trainer. So
Matthias, I was telling you about this
hot
yesterday.
and uncomfortable.
It's a room. It's what, a 12 by 12 or a 15 by 15 ring with a room that's barely this far from the ring. You hit the ropes too hard, you touch the ring, touch the wall.
So it was probably a 16-foot ring, and so the room was probably no bigger than I don't know, 20 by 20, if that. You know what I mean? Yeah, it was small.
Oh my gosh.
Smacked the mat for the first time. He's like, "Do you want to try to run the rope?" I wiped my feet. And I was like, "Is it 5 steps?" Like I researched like step counting and everything like that before I even stepped into a ring. It's like, "How do you already know that?" I was like, "I read a lot.
Now he's the opposite of me. When I got in there, they're just like, "You want to run the ropes?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." You just turn your back and hit them, right? Like put your hand up. I don't know.
Oh, I was sitting here like, am I gonna spring back? They're like, oh, there's no give. You got to do that yourself. Okay, 5 steps, and I started going. After about 8 times, I'm like, I like this. He's like, take your shirt off and now do it. I was like, ooh, I had a mark for like a month right here.
Yeah, I like when people run the ropes for the first time.
Ouch.
It's not gonna tickle, is what I tell people. We're taking a first bump. Hey Matt, if I ever get access to a ring, because I talked about buying one a few years ago, would you take a bump?
Yeah, but like I would do the one I would do that one first, because I'm definitely not trying to knock the air out of me.
Oh,
I feel like it's gonna happen.
Just don't hold your breath. Just don't hold your breath.
Okay. When we talked about the anxiety, yes. When it comes to having your family at shows, do you get those little goosebumps or like a little extra on edge when you do a Fort Wayne show and your mom's in the crowd? Because we just so happened, she's like, "That's my son in the ring." I was like, and that's how you embarrass your son.
No, I don't get embarrassed at all. Actually, I feel better. Actually, I think like when they're there, because it's just when I'm there, I know that they're there to watch me. They're there to just have a good time and enjoy the things that I'm doing. So I don't have to worry about the other people in the crowd as much. I'm less nervous doing that in front of them. And my mom's like the hardest critic, so she's been watching me wrestle for 12 years now, right? So she's definitely my hardest critic.
Latino Heat was talking to her for a minute. He's like, "Wait, are you actually his mom?" And then he looked. He's like, "Yep, that's his mom." Like, not even thinking.
Yeah, man. Yeah, if you just look at her, you can tell like the 5'10" Amazon Samoan lady.
Yeah,
with dark black hair and brown skin. Like, yeah, that's my mom.
Yeah. Hey,
that's funny.
Your whole family was awesome to be around. Just the pop. You had the entire arena in your hand. Like, you could have taken 20 minutes for your entrance, and we would have still been just watching in awe. Like,
thank you.
It
I
was
try, man.
from the first show I saw you at to now. It's the same animal. It's the same animal, but you've evolved since then. You went from a hero conquering monsters like Odyssey or Osiris, Hillbilly Jed, to now being a legend straight up.
Oh, appreciate it, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm at that point now in my I think in my career where I think I know a little something about wrestling, and so I think I carry a little bit of not a little bit, but like confidence in what I do. So I definitely feel like that probably exudes when I walk through the curtain. You know what I mean? Because otherwise, like you can't really fake that. Like you can tell with the guys that are pretending to be confident, which is fine. Like fake it till you make it. Not everybody can see that, but when you actually are confident in your skills and you walk through the curtain and you believe in everything that you do, like it helps with the performance. It helps with getting out there and doing your thing.
Before I
Awesome.
forget, Latino Heat's in the comments. He's like, "Hey, you didn't ask Anthony Toatele the most important question. What's your go-to snack? Since we're snacks and suplexes here,
Ooh.
Yes.
what's that one where you're like, I shouldn't have it, but I love it, like Sam's Club pizza that's so greasy and it just runs down your face."
So I think everyone would be shocked to see my actual diet because like everyone's always like, oh, you must eat super clean, which I for the most part I eat clean. Like I meal prep Monday through Friday. I have the same meal for lunch. It's you know, but man, as far as like guilty snacks, like really guilty snacks, like man, I love candy bars. Like so, I'll always grab like a nutrageous Reese's nutrageous or like a Payday or a Snickers from a gas station whenever I'm on the road. I love ice cream. Love ice
Mm.
cream. Yeah, so like I always think about that too. Like because if I'm gonna eat that stuff, especially at night, and I've been all my meal plan all week, then I better make sure that I'm working out hard enough to get away with that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring up MWC again, Mayhem, because the cake monster. I'm sitting here
Mm.
like thinking like, how can a guy get so over with snack cakes? And I'm like, I'm doing the same exact thing on a podcast.
Yeah, bro, that's the guy for the podcast. You know what I'm saying? Snacks and
I've
suplexes.
already reached
Cake
out
monster.
to him. The first thing I did was reach out. I'm thinking like, oh, I want a snack cake now, and I went home and ate snack cakes. But I've been stuck on these peanut butter filled pretzels for like the last few years.
Oh man,
Delicious.
peanut
They're
butter-
dangerous.
Those are good. Those are good.
They're dangerous. I eat them with Dr. Pepper. Don't. It's a weird combo. I just like salty over sweet.
That's all right. Yeah, so
And
like
because 90% of us in our family are diabetic, so I got to be careful of that too.
that's fair. Yeah, so like my snacks are usually like during the weekdays, like when I'm sitting in my office or in like eating my meal plan. They're relatively like they're like protein chips or something relatively healthy. But I'll throw in a peanut butter and honey sandwich as my like in between lunch and dinner when I've got like a heavy lift plan. So
I walked
uh
out of my kitchen about 10 minutes before we got here. I counted 12 jars of peanut butter in my cabinet.
I love peanut butter.
Peanut butter is good. Creamy or smooth?
I'm both.
All right.
Give me both.
Latino Heat TM just asked, will you defend snacks and suplexes against the main event bald guy who mocked us? I can't ever remember his name.
That dude's
He was
funny.
like, oh, it's so cute. And I was sitting here like, hey, it's not mocking when we got free
Was
advertising.
the Jack tattoo bald guy?
Yeah.
Oh, Russ Jones? Russ
Yes,
Jones.
Jones.
Yeah, Russ Jones. I mean,
I'm sitting
I'll
here
throw
like,
down with Russ Jones, but
That dude's funny.
that's the wrong guy. Hey, y'all don't want to be picking a fight with Russ Jones. That's all I'm
No.
saying. Let me handle that.
I'm the only active one between us three on snacks and suplexes. And if you ever decide to do a half marathon or anything like that, reach out to me. You can do one with me. It's not going to be fast, but it'll be decent.
My max is like 3 miles. Like that's as much as running as you're gonna get. 3 miles. If I can't run away from something in 3 miles, yeah, I don't deserve it. Deserves to catch me.
Yeah, it was like 3.01, and you did it in like 6:40 pace. And I'm like going through like old Facebook posts because I would screenshot anything because I was very bad at sharing stuff. I just screenshotted everything on my old phone. It's like
Yeah,
that
man.
old
I
photo
was
you see.
super into running. Like when COVID hit and all the gyms closed down, like, you know, I didn't have an option. Like I had a barbell in my garage, in my old house, and my son was just born, so I was like, well, I guess I'll pick up running, and I just started running. I ran a 5K every day after my son was born for like I don't know 3 months, like
Wow.
Monday through Friday, 5K if I had to just divide it up throughout the day, like half in the morning, half at night, I was doing it though.
Hey, it takes a lot. It takes a lot of mental. What am I looking at? It takes a lot of self.
Discipline?
Yes, self discipline. My brain
Yes,
fog.
a lot of self-discipline.
Yeah, man.
Definitely.
I'm a big goal oriented guy, like something I like to shoot for. So like, I did that for a minute, and then a couple years ago, I started, I started the new year, and I was talking to a guy at the gym, and he was like, "Oh, we got to train for this thing in the military where we got to run 5 miles in under 40 minutes." And I was like, "Bet I can do that." And I just started doing that. Like I just started training for that, and like a month in, I hit 5 miles in 40 minutes, and I was like, "All right, like I can do it." Like so, that's just like my thing. Like I'm big on finding goals that I can accomplish, so it keeps driving me.
Ezra in the chat, he texted me. It's on my phone. He's like, "Would Anthony ever want to grapple spar?"
Oh,
Ezra
yes.
Butler, the gentleman I showed you, I introduced you to.
Oh
Who's
yeah,
He's like, would Anthony ever want to grapple? I was like, that's between you and him. Like, y'all should
hey
reach out
man,
because that's interesting.
yeah. Like you want to sign a waiver and you want to come to Gracie Jiu Jitsu in Fort Wayne, or you want to come to the Fort Wayne wrestling facility, which is what they are a big sponsor of mine, and we're gonna have our next show at the Fort Wayne wrestling facility
Sweet.
here, yeah, in May. But yeah, the Fort Wrestling Facility, Gracie Jiu Jitsu. That's where you can find me if I'm not in the gym lifting. Typically, I'm there getting my ass beat. Most of the time, getting my ass beat. Sometimes trying to do a little ass beating, but yeah, all the
Sweet.
people
Ezra
hang,
added
all
me
the
on
people.
Instagram right away. He's like, this guy's insane. He does wrestling and jujitsu. Like,
Man,
Ezra, I love wrestling.
all the people that I train with are notorious for whooping my ass. Like, if you follow me on socials, you're probably sick of seeing the same group of dudes, giant dudes, just
Oh,
that I train with. I probably see those guys 6 out of 7 days a week.
Matt, I'll send you the pictures and I'll send you a link to Anthony's Instagram if you aren't already following. This is because this man will
Yeah, go
post
ahead.
one pro wrestling thing and then he'll post like being beat up by a guy that's what 6'5", I think is one of the guys standing behind you looking over you.
Yeah,
Jeez.
yeah, that dude's Gabe Daniels is a beast, man. Like he's one of my training partners and really my lifting coach at this point for the last 3 years. Really honed me into like learning how to lift properly and getting stronger as I get older. But yeah, dude trained at Westside Barbell and back in the early 2000s, that was the mecca of powerlifting. And for a guy that's 6'3", 270, I'm watching him.
Jeez.
I'm watching him bench press for reps. My what used to be my deadlift max of 315. You know what I'm saying? So
Holy crap.
I don't even want to know my deadlift max anymore. I haven't deadlifted since high school or no college. It was since I'm all legs and 5 foot tall. It was 405 is my best of all time. Like I'm never touching it again.
that's pretty
Like
good. Yeah, that's
I'm
pretty
never
good.
touching a 420 mile again ever again in my lifetime. I'm never touching that again. I'm fine with that too. I just turned 30, so I'm grateful to still be able to run. But what was your
Yeah.
favorite championship to hold, like through your time wrestling the last few years, or even the last 12 years? Would it be the Shogun Championship, which is an actual sword?
So yeah, like honestly, Shogun is up there. Like being the Shogun heavyweight champion, like right now, I think it's called the Samurai Championship, the heavyweight
Yes.
championship. Um, like Shogun came to me at a time like I love that company. I love what they do. They put all of their content free on YouTube up. Every month they have a show, right? And their shows go up on YouTube for free for people to check it out. And honestly, like they're the ones that really ended up pushing me back into wrestling because at the time after COVID. Like wrestling was really down. And I just got, I was getting to that point where I thought I was going to walk away from it. I didn't feel like it was fulfilling me anymore. So that's when I started doing jiu-jitsu and competing in jiu-jitsu. And Shogun reached out to me, and we've just had a pretty good relationship since then. So I owe it to those guys, because it had it not been for Shogun Wrestling and putting me in those positions in their company, I don't think OVW happens for me. I don't think all of this I guess resurgence in my career now later in life, like I don't think that happens without those guys.
Yeah.
Latino Heat says there's a toy show tomorrow at the Armory.
Ooh. I'm going to be wrestling in Detroit, but
there's 2 different toy shows this weekend as well. I'm going to try to go to one or the other after myself getting sick.
There's one Sunday.
Yes. Fairgrounds or Grand Wayne.
Yep.
I can't remember one.
It's at the fairgrounds.
Where Aunt Sheila used to live, Matt, if you're...
Oh, yeah. I know where that's at.
I don't know locations. I know, like, there's a McDonald's, like, this way, that way. Yeah.
North side of town in Fort Wayne, yeah.
Oh, man. Let's see.
You got any more questions, Matt, before we cut this off? We're just about at our mark before I forget.
I want to know how the call came up from WWE. Are you able to get into that at all?
So I'll get a little bit into it, right? So I can't give it away everything, but like a couple years ago when the Royal Rumble was in Indianapolis, there was a seminar slash like scouting sort of thing with a guy by the name of Gabe Sapolsky. Originally, he was the booker and kind of creator of Ring of Honor, and then he created Evolve Wrestling. So he works for WWE now, and he gives these great presentations on what the wrestling business is looking for. So he did one in Indy at a wrestling school down there, ran by Jake Oman at White River Wrestling. So I just ended up going down there and taking it was the day after the Rumble, that's the Sunday after, and listened to him give his presentation. And then we got to have like these tryout matches in front of him and gave his feedback. And, just got some contact information. And then all of a sudden, like you start getting, when they're in town, they start asking you like, hey, have you filled out your application yet? Like, have you filled out this? Have you gotten your medical paperwork? So that's how that started. Is I really just, it's just like anything else. You got to get in front of the right people and right time, right place. And so hopefully we keep getting those calls, and eventually we'll get to a real spot on the roster, and might find me in the Bloodline or the MFTs or whoever else needs a Samoan.
Hey, man, definitely. That would be sweet. Fort Wayne, repping all day.
Absolutely. Since day one, since the first show I saw you, I've been Team Toatele. Like, I'm pretty sure I added you on Facebook before the event had even ended, because I had just got my smartphone. Like, I didn't get a smartphone until 2015. Because I'm like, I'm 20 years back, apparently. But Latino Heat's got 5 minutes at work, so he's hopping in, and I'm sending him a quick link.
Sweet.
Yeah. He up there he is. There he is. Come on.
Hey, guys.
What up, man?
Turn your phone.
Hey, I'm still at work. I still got like another hour because I got a lot of stuff to do. But I just want to hop in and say thanks for being on the podcast, man. It's my official face review.
Yes, sir.
Thank you
So
guys.
I had to pick the right moment.
Yeah. But can you believe we've been watching Anthony Toatele wrestle for 12 years, from the guy we heard from wrestling from Fort Wayne, Indiana, Anthony Toatele, introduced by Jimmy Jam out in NWA CCW. I don't even know how I got that.
Wow.
I don't even know.
That's awesome.
But this is crazy to think about. If you would have told me, hey, you're going to interview this guy, you're watching it your first independent wrestling show, you're going to be like, no, I'm not. I just got off with 2 broken hips at the time. So back then I broke both hips, and then I was miserable. So I had to do stuff to keep myself interested. So thanks to Anthony here, it re-sparked my love in wrestling. And that's how I got into training in January of the following year.
I like to hear that, man. Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on. Like I said, it's a different time now. At the time you had saw me at that show, like like you said, same person, just a little more evolved, a little more seasoned, a little older. So yeah, here I am still doing it, unfortunately.
How would people reach out to you? Would they just go through your social medias, Anthony Toatele, under Instagram, Facebook? I believe you're on TikTok, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I don't use the TikTok very often, but yeah, if anyone's wants to reach out to me, please follow me. Like Michael said, at Anthony Toatele, all one word. It's the same across all my social medias. I've got a pro wrestling tees shop that has all of my shirt designs. That's where Mike got that classic shirt with me and my wife. A little play off the My Chemical Romance album cover, but yeah, follow me. Give me a follow, and again, I'm a little busier than I think I'm busier the last 2 years in my wrestling career than I ever have been, thanks to OVW
Wow.
and some of the views that I get
Hey,
from
I'm
that.
sorry, guys, if you guys are getting a bunch of wind. I had to step outside real quick since I'm still on the clock.
You're
But
good.
I'm gonna. I just had to stop on and say thank you real quick, man, for doing the podcast. I would love to have you on again.
Absolutely, you guys, anytime you guys want me,
Hey,
we'll
I'm
figure
gonna
out a
cut
time.
out though and jump back on YouTube and watch, but I just wanted to hop in for a second.
All right. Later, bro.
All right, later, guys.
Be safe on the road. Yeah, fun fact, that's actually my twin brother. No, but everyone's like, you got to be like 2 years older. I was like, I'm about 18 minutes. But yes,
Ah,
and then I
yeah.
had twins. So it's a wild life. But I do appreciate your time. Like, I think I've said that like 6 times in the last 2 weeks. I appreciate your time because every moment, especially with our little ones, because I'm about to go tuck in my kids to bed and then probably do a bunch of editing tonight.
I'm right behind you, dude. It's bedtime for our house. We gonna put the kids down and do the dad thing. As much
The
as I
next
love being a pro wrestler, I think I love being a dad more, and
Oh yeah.
uh, that's like the biggest thing. So if I was that's like the one thing that I'll leave you guys with, and if anyone, any other wrestlers you bring on, that if I could pass the knowledge on to them, I would say like, don't get wrapped up in wrestling. It for me like the one thing that I see is wrestlers oftentimes it's not just something that they do. Pro wrestling is who they are, and so I learned very quickly, I guess probably not quick enough though, that wrestling is just something that we do, right? So like if you can't figure out who you are outside of that, like you should spend your time figuring out who you are. Like I know that I'm a dad, I know that I'm a husband, like those things are the important things, and that's why I think I have the longevity in my career so far, is because that's the number one important thing. Everything I do is for that part of my life.
I think
Really
I
good
saw this
advice.
thing on your Facebook page. Part-time wrestler, full-time husband and dad. I think I saw that on your Facebook page. It was in the last few years,
Yeah.
and once I became a dad, I think you were one of the first people I was like, "Hey, I got a kid on the way." Like it's a wild time period. I reached out to you, and it's been a wild ride. The last 5 years, you would have told me I would have been a dad. I was like, "There's no way," and now I'm stuck with all this with my New Jack autograph just sitting in the back, wearing my daughter's headphones because she snapped the cord on my other one, trying to tie my arms up. Like I'm half asleep dealing with it, and I just went and I broke my headphones, so I'm using hers. You know how many
I
tea
do
parties
know.
have you been to? A lot,
A lot. A lot.
and you'll be at many more. But again, I do appreciate your time. Any other words from y'all?
Oh man, I just want to thank him as well. And I'm pretty sure we're going to be going to another indie show. It was my first indie show I've been to, and I loved it.
Midwest Wrestling
So
Combat comes back May 15th, fellas. May
yes,
15th here in Fort Wayne. Be on the
They
sweet.
said,
lookout.
and Amanda said thank you, or Anthony said thank you for stitching the hat on. Since yeah. My wife's hanging out this way. She yeah. There's only one person that should terrify you in life, and that's your wife.
Yeah, mine does. Trust me.
What is mine is yours, and what is yours is yours. But sorry, it's being a dad. It's the best part of my day. But I do appreciate y'all coming on, especially you, Anthony, and Matthias, and Latino Heat hanging out in the DMs.
Yes,
No,
sir,
I
man.
appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Yep.
No
You have a good
problem.
night, bro.